Hello faithful viewers, welcome back to another Transformers review. This time we are looking at the Generations Deluxe Class Thrilling 30 Windblade. Now Windblade is notorious for being the first fan-created Transformer. Back in the day, Hasbro ran a competition where the fans could basically come up with the type of Transformer that they wanted, what they turned into, etc, etc, and Windblade here was the result. And she's gone into star in many versions of Transformers property, including the IDW comics where she debuted, and Transformers Robots in Disguise 2015, as well as Cyberverse. That might have actually been the last time she appeared, but alas alack, this is the original figure that came out of that fan competition. And it's okay. It's not the greatest figure ever made, but as Windblade specifically go, I think it's pretty good. But the okay is just in a general, what figures are like. So she turns into a jet, red and black, as we can see of the primary colour. It's not based on a real life jet that I know of. I did have a quick research of the figure beforehand, and I couldn't see that DF Ricky mentioned anything that it was based off. The most notable feature about this jet are the fan blades that are in the wings here. They are on a rotation, so you can position them however you like. I think officially they are meant to be like this though. So the overall jet mode is fine, but it's fine from this angle. When you look at it from up top though, it's a little bit gappy. For a first try at Windblade, it's admirable, but I think later versions perfect the jet mode specifically. I think where this figure shines is the robot mode. But the jet mode, it's fine from certain angles, but yeah, from the top, at least they try and have the sword, blade and sheath, which you have connected along the bottom here, fill in that gap. It's an admirable effort, but the final execution of it, not the best. But anyway, like I said, black primary colour, you've got red highlights, you've got a cream on the fans here, you've got a translucent gold cockpit. The hands and the arms just kind of hang underneath there, a little bit disappointing, and of course these will be the shins and the feet. Not hidden particularly very well. Overall, jet mode, not the best, could have been better, but an admirable effort for what it is. Something else to point out, there are moulded in landing gear along there. Yeah, that's her jet mode. Transformation then, it's relatively simple, all things considered. What we should do for a start is fold these back and flat against the wings, and then we're going to remove the sheath and the saw blade just by pulling them out and discarding them for now. Then we are going to start at the back of the figure, and we're going to flip to the underside, and we're just going to lift her arms out of the way by untapping her hands, which clip onto black tabs at the bottom there. We're just going to flare them out and leave them alone for now. We're going to come back to the bottom here, and we're just going to unclip the wings at those tabs. And once again, just flare them out. These bits will just automatically come unconnected, so just fold them out of the way and hoist everything up. We're going to continue on the bottom here, so we're going to untab these, take these bits, we're going to flare them out, they will be the heels. I'll get into them in a little bit, and then we will flare them 180 degrees. It's just trying to remember which way to spin them, so they're like that. And then we can take the shin area and we can just rotate it down. I do like this joint, I like the whole hinging and rotating there. I think that's good, but there is a but. They don't tab into anything. Yeah, there are little tabs there and the slots there, but they don't really do anything. We're going to come to the waist. We're just going to rotate it 180 degrees. Forgive me if I don't try and stand her up. So we are now going to turn our attention to the nose cone, and we're just going to fold it back like that. We're going to come to the chest, we're going to move it forward, we're going to take the head, we're just going to get it out of there, and before we actually collapse the chest back up, we're going to hinge the arms into place like that. And it is a little bit messy at a minute, but hey ho. And then we're going to collapse the chest up, making sure that those arm hinges are nicely slotted inside the chest cavity. And now all there really is to do is just to clean the figure up. So I'm going to flare the shoulder blades out, bring the arms down, come to the bottom of the wings and just folding those little tail fins up, and then personal preference as to how you want the wings displayed. I like them up and at a bit of an angle. There are also pin hinges on each wing, so you have options as to how to display her. Then the final thing you want to do is, depending on if you want her right-handed or left-handed, there is no right or wrong way to do it, but take the sheath, there is a rectangular tab on each side of her legs, so just try and pin it in as best you can. It just like to fall off. So there we are. There is Windblade in robot mode. Now I had to just sort her out off camera because the biggest bugbear with this figure is her ability to stand. So this is what the point I was going to make regarding the heels. We can see, looking at the legs, I've actually had to chicken leg her a little bit, like movie Starscream and other movie Decepticons, because number one, she's very back heavy because of the wings, obviously, but number two, these pathetic little heels, this, oh, I swear, is the biggest turn off about this thing, because they don't clip in. All of the pain that this figure can give you could easily have been avoided if somehow they'd found a way to include a tab on those thrusters to allow the heel to lock in place. But as it is, there is no locking mechanism, and it's such a tiny little spindly thing on this pin joint, continuously moving in and out, and affording her no stability. Small little heel, small little feet, big back kibble, plus a sword and a sheath that continuously fall out of her hip, meaning that Windblade does not stand up very well at all. Buyer beware, you will have a lot of trouble getting her to stand. Now, theoretically, she could pull off a lot of poses because the articulation through this figure is actually very good, but good luck with her retaining them. But overall, the robot mode, I think, looks beautiful. I do. The paintwork on this thing is sublime. If we try and zoom in and get her head in as much detail as we can. There we go. That's gorgeous. Nice silver face, nice painted blue eyes, some nice yellow and gold paint up on the crest of her head, as well as a bit of blue directly underneath that. It is very Asian culture inspired, I suppose. Is an acceptable way of saying it? I hope. But it's gorgeous. Nevertheless, it's gorgeous. The red torso as well, black shoulder blades, just the red that continues all throughout the body with little bits of blue highlights here and there. It's gorgeous to look at. Now, the reason why I think this robot mode shines so much is because other Windblades that have been released since this original one, I don't think have quite perfected the colour combination that this one does. There's, again, the RID 2015 one, Titan's Return, I believe, had a figure come out. None of them, I think, hold a candle to just the visual beauty of this one's robot mode. Just the dedication to how the colour is broken up on this one, I think, far outshines everything else. Now, in terms of accessories, we're going to return our attention to the head here. Now, whether I'll be able to entirely show this on camera, I don't know. But this gold fan that is behind her head is actually removable. And now, to remove it, the instructions apparently tell you to just lift it up, but don't do that because it's clear plastic, so you want to just wiggle it back and out. And again, I don't know how well I'll be able to show this. Oh, we did it. And as we can see, she can hold the fan in her right hand or her left hand, doesn't matter. But yeah, it's a nice little gimmick. They didn't have to include that, but nice of them to do so anyway. But just caution removing it from the back of her head, just because of the material that it is made out of. Windblade's other little gimmick here is her sword and sheath, which I've just detached from her for the sake of trying to show you this without her falling over. But yeah, nice little thing. You can pull that out, and you've got a really nice translucent purple blade, which actually has a nice fade out to it. You can see the purple along the bottom fades into just clear plastic. It's an energy weapon after all. Really beautiful weapon for her to come with. Holds it really nice and securely. She holds the blade far better than she does the fan on the back of her head. Apparently she can maybe hold the sheath as well. I have never actually experimented with this before. But yeah, she can hold the sheath as well. There is like a MagTech port sort of thing on the tip there, so you can have her hold it either that way or the other way. I don't know what the best way to do it is, considering that I never display her with it like this, but it's an option. And yeah, because she is quite flexible as well, you can pull off a lot of good poses with the sword. So we will get into articulation. We are going to, first of all, look at the head. It can turn right about that far, not very much. Left about that far, not very much. It can look back about that far and down about that far, actually locking into place there. I heard and felt a tab actually click in. Bit weird. In terms of the arms, you can lift them up that far. They are on a rotation because it's a mushroom peg. Up and out that far. Back, not very much because they're hindered by the wing, but the wing is on a maneuverable joint as well, so you can push the arms back as well. A 90-degree bend, like so. There is wrist articulation, which is quite nice. It's on a mushroom peg as well, so you've got a swivel there. In terms of the waist, you do have a 360-degree waist rotation, which is incorporated into the transformation sequence. In terms of a kick, that much, and we could see that just fall apart on us because it doesn't clip in, but a nice forward kick, a nice back kick as well. In terms of a spread, a beautiful spread, and then we have a bit of rotation of the upper leg as well. In terms of a bend at the knee, we have a 90-degree bend. If that heel would play ball, yep, 90-degree bend like that. And then that's kind of it. Nothing at the feet or the toes, unless you count this pathetic little heel here. Full-size comparison, here is Windblade up against Prime First Edition RC. Here she is next to Studio Series Bumblebee movie RC. Here she is next to her best friend Chromia, also from the Thrilling 30 line. Here she is next to Legacy Armada Starscream, a character who in the comics she has an interesting relationship with, apparently. And for consistency's sake, here she is with Marvel Legends Mysterio. So there we go. That is my review of Generations Windblade, the original Windblade to come out. And I think of, again, all of the Windblades that have come out, she probably is the best. She certainly has the best looking robot mode. Where she falls short, though, is just the stability issues, mainly regarding that pathetic heel. The fact that her legs, bits and bobs just don't clip in properly, and her sheath or scabbard or whatever you want to call it continuously falls out. The jet mode also not the best looking thing in the world. The just the whole gappy nature of it, not the best. Other Windblades have perfected specific aspects of just the character. However, the reason why I still think that this is probably the best one in principle is this robot mode and just the way it looks and the paint on it. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. I think for display, certainly get this Windblade. And I don't have any trouble actually recommending this Windblade at all. I do. I think she is worth getting. Also, just for the sake of what she is the first fan-created Transformer. That reason alone, I think, is worth getting this figure, just because it has a historical value in that sense. But yeah, there's things that the figure doesn't do quite well enough, which future ones do improve on, but for what it is, I do think it is a very beautiful thing. And yeah, I definitely recommend you get it. So, that's Windblade. Thank you everybody so much for stopping by and checking out this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see you all later.